Good evening, everybody. My name is Ethan Deutsch. I'm the youth leader here at Faith Baptist Church in St. Charles, Missouri. Today, I'm going to talk to you about faith. It's the name of our church. It's the name of this series, 5 Minutes with Faith. And this is going to kind of be 5 minutes of faith. Faith is the one thing in our Christian life that we have to keep taking that next step forward every day. So today, we're going to open our Bibles to 1 Samuel chapter 17. And many of us know this story. It's a very, very common story. Even if you were taught it in your youth in a Sunday school, or if you're a new Christian, you've heard someone preach or talk about this great man and great warrior of God named David, who had the courage in his youth and the faith to stand before a giant and slay him. I want to bring out, though, some things in this story that aren't really brought out a lot in the reference to this topic of faith. So let's take a look at our scriptures in our story of David, and let's look at verses 46 and 47 real quick. And this is where David is standing before Goliath, and he said, "This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee and take thine head from thee, and I will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth, and that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. And all this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth not with the sword and with spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands." Now think about this right here. Here we see David's great faith in God when he stands before Goliath. He just stands there and proclaims that to Goliath. That's great faith in itself right there. But do you think he got that faith that day? Like, he woke up and got that faith. You think that faith in God is blind? I don't think so. Let's take a look back in verse 34 through 37 where David is talking to Saul. "And David said unto Saul, Thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came out a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock. And I went out after him, and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him with by his beard, and smote him, and slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear. And this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he hath defiled the armies of the living God. David said, Moreover, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, Go, and the Lord be with thee." So in these verses, it talks about, before verse 34 and 37, how David stayed behind to keep his father's sheep. So right here, David is talking about to Saul about how his faith was built. God didn't just throw Goliath in front of him on his first day in battle. David had to stay behind and keep his father's sheep. If David would have gone straight to the battle, David would not have had the faith built in him to fight Goliath. He would not have been able to face that strong adversary. Instead, he stayed behind, and God sent him the bear, and God sent him the lion to build that faith in him. So he knew when he stood before Goliath, he had the strength and the faith to look back at what God has brought him through already. God didn't send David before Goliath with a blind faith. He built it up, just like he builds us up. When David would stand before Goliath, he was able to look back and see what God has brought him through already. David was not following a blind faith, and neither do we Christians. In my Christian walk, I've come across many people who mock our faith, and they say the Christian faith is blindly following stories of fantasy and fiction. But I'm here to tell you today that our faith is not blind, and my God is not fiction. My faith has been built on years of God's grace and kindness. From even before I was saved, there have been times I can look back and see what God has done for me. Let me ask you a question. When you lay your head down on your pillow every night, do you shake in fear that you won't wake up again? Probably not. You know why? Because every morning since you took your first breath, your eyes opened. So when you go to bed without even thinking it, you have the faith that your eyes will open to another beautiful morning. You wouldn't say that you have blind faith that you'll wake up the next morning, because it's happened every day. God has built that faith in you. God gives us things in our lives that we can physically see to build our faith in God. Sure, there are things that we have to have faith in that we have not seen, but we have that faith because God has built that through our lives to where it's not a blind faith. It is a faith that has seen times of grace, of faith, of trials, and of mercy. Our faith is in God who sees and knows all. And like he did with David, he will not leave us blind in our walk with him. If you ever find yourself struggling with something God is taking you through, just stop and look back on the things God has brought you through already. Look at the things that he has done for you and the grace he has always given. It'll feel sometimes that you're walking blindly, but you're not. And if you'll just get in the Bible, trust God, get on your knees and pray, open your eyes and look at what God has brought you through already, you will see that you do not have a blind faith. I ask you today, if you don't know this faith that I'm talking about, and you would like to know how to gain this faith that you can see with your eyes, please come visit us, call us, follow us, get in touch with us any way you can, and we would love to show you how you can gain this faith in God that is not blind. I want to thank you for watching and listening to me today. I hope you got something out of this, and I hope you have a blessed day. Building your faith, 5 minutes at a time.